So I want to talk first of all about Michael D. Higgins, the President of Ireland. I wouldn't call him a president, to be totally honest with you. He's not my president, and it was hashtag my not my president. But yeah, he went off. Some socialist with a big house. There's no right. Very socialist. There's no right. But yeah, just wanted to say he's concerned. He's very concerned about all the legislation he has to sign. I think he signed 49 in the last few months. And I think 19 of them were given to him on one day, and he was given a few hours to decide if he was going to sign them or what was the story to look through, or if it's constitutionally feasible to put them in. Take for example, if it's tobacco. The can't be sold. The savers and all are banned tobacco. No more tobacco in the country. You have to look at the constitution and say, is it legal? Can the government actually regulate the businesses? So can what etc etc. Can they do it for the benefit of the health? For people's lungs and things like that, or what? What does the Constitution say? And I'm probably most like the Constitution would say, no, he could move forward. Again, he never moved forward one thing to the Supreme Court. It's different being concerned. Again, if he showed concern, I would have been like, no, I'm not signing it. Bring it to the Supreme Court. I refuse to sign it. No more legislation's been signed. Send it to the Supreme Court, and if they disagree, then they disagree. Take, for example, the COVID legislation. The COVID passes. I don't know how, in the name of God's earth, they would go through the Supreme Court, and how would they be able to swing it, saying it's legal and it's in the Constitution? How is it legal? How could it be legal? How could they fees it to be legal? Because I don't know how they would be able to swing it. They couldn't swing it anyway, because it would be unconstitutional. We have to admit it. It wouldn't. It's not in the Constitution to bring COVID pass and you can restrict people's movement. No matter the situation, apart from times of war or times of rebellion, unless they call this a time of rebellion. That's what it specifically says in the Constitution. It doesn't say a national health emergency, it doesn't say anything like that. It says times of go in a state of war or in a state of rebellion. It says nothing else, which in the Second World War, it technically was, and it was alright for stopping people and asking for identification and everything, because there could be British spies, German spies, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, it's a different kettle of fish now. It's not the Constitution. It's extremely illegal. And again, I'd say to Michael Higgins, he could have went. Again, many people protest out to the hours, outside the convention centre across the country. Many people voiced their opinion was trending the number one, and a huge amount of people voiced their opinion, including myself. That they should be sent to the Supreme Court. If he thought it was, if he didn't think it was constitution was forced to sign in a short period of time, again, as president, he should take upon himself to either, it could, again, he can address the Dáil if he deems it necessary. To President, was it President McAleese done it. She addressed the Dáil. Oh no, was it President Robertson? It was one of the two. They addressed the Dáil twice, in relation to different things and talked to them about different things. And the president can do that. He can address Dáil Éireann and Shannon Éireann. He can go into their chamber and speak to them directly about legislation, about this, that, whatever he feels like. But again, he could have done all them. He could have went to the Dáil and the Shannon and said, I'm not going to sign these in. Why should I sign them in? But again, he had plenty of options. He had options every way. Even with the Supreme Court, what harm would have been said if he delayed it 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks for the Supreme Court to decide? Because again, I don't think it would have been very hard for them to decide, because I think it would only took them about a day to decide, because I don't think they could swing it. It couldn't be swing. It couldn't be allowed in the Constitution. It wouldn't have been allowed. There wouldn't been nothing, and it wouldn't been constitutionally feasible to allow it. But again, Michael Higgins, I have no respect for you. I had no respect for you before what you did to the Defence Force. You sit there as Commander-in-Chief of the Army, the same position as Michael Collins used to hold, and you disgrace to that position. You really are a disgrace to that position as Commander-in-Chief of the Army. In letting your men down and letting your soldiers and men and women down in the Defence Force, you're letting them down. You are letting them down. You're letting them literally die with no pay. Going over to Lebanon, going over to countries in state of war. And you're letting them go over there, and they could come back dead, and they get nothing out of it really. The same as the Congo, the soldiers of the Congo never really got any recognition or medals for their bravery. And Michael Higgins sits there on the hours and he says nothing about it. And I'm sure as Commander-in-Chief, he's as overall commander of the army, because they have to report to him. I'm sure the Defence Forces had the commanders of the Defence Force had to report to him about different things. And I'm sure the Minister of Defence that's about the Commander-in-Chief of the army about what the situation is. You think he would say full stop. As he said once before, and I was happy at the time he said, we should give the army proper pay and proper conditions. I was happy because he finally acknowledged it. And then he said fuck all about that, and then he left them to their own device, then didn't care less. You'd think he would care. And above all else, as Commander-in-Chief of the Army, the same position Michael Collins held, you'd think he would care. But again, Pure said Micah D. Higgins didn't care. He doesn't care. Same as head of state, just doesn't care. He couldn't care less about the constitution, couldn't care less. He just signs whatever Fianna Gael or Fianna Fáil puts in front of him. If it's to kick everybody out of their houses, he's going to sign it. Because Fianna Fáil and Fianna Gael said so. That's all.